I'm recording it. Why is it not pulling up the shared?
Why is it not letting us share to Facebook? Not good. Not good. Not good. All right. Yes, Ms. Garrison, you are, I think, currently listed as attendee, so you will not have those options to talk. Murphy's Law strikes again. There's always a chance. There's always something. Try something new. Yep.
You have Facebook up?
Checking Facebook now. Yeah, you did. You oversold it. All right, I think. Okay. All right, we're gonna get going. Sorry about that. We'll jump right into it. The one thing we didn't test is the one thing that's not working. Of course. All right. So first things is the treasurer's report can be found in the meeting documents on the link from our website. If there are no questions, we'll go ahead and approve that. Cool. All right. We're going to go straight into the public administration announcements. I see Officer Al Brown. If you want to kick us off, you want to go ahead and give us an update.
How's everybody doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
Good. So for the last 28 rolling days for the Madisonville area, we had 2 burglaries. We had 4 thefts from autos. We had 7 personal thefts and 1 auto theft for the last rolling 28 days.
All right. Are there any questions for Officer Brown out there? All right. I think that was quick and easy for you. Thank you for coming out. We'll see you next month.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. All right. Ms. Knox, would you like to go next?
Yes. Yes. Good evening, Madisonville. I'm a little out of breath. I was getting the dog in. Thank you again for the opportunity to share with you what's going on at John P. Parker School. As you know, we were remote because of staff shortages. However, we know that we're coming back on Monday, the 24th. Also, we are planning for our summer scholars program, which is June, the month of June, it's 20 days in the month of June. So we're excited to be able to offer that again. It is all day. It's academic instruction in the morning and enrichment in the afternoon. So we're excited to be able to offer that. Whew. Out of breath chasing that dog, right? Yeah, so when we come back on the 24th, we again will buckle down with instruction. We are looking for and actively recruiting academic tutors. And this would be in person during the school day and after school in 30-minute blocks. So that's all I have for you. I appreciate the time. Be well and be safe.
All right. Thank you very much. See, Ms. Wilder, would you like to go next?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Saying hello. I haven't been here in a while, but I'm really happy to be here today. I'm at Schroeder High School. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Pamela Wilder, and I'm the resource coordinator at Schroeder High School. And as Pam Knox said, we are virtual, and we will be back on Monday also. We really need tutors very badly, math tutors. We have a person in the community. I can't be here without mentioning Ms. Boland, and Boland is working diligently with us to provide math tutoring for our 7th graders, and we're doing fundamental math with them. And we are, because of the fact that we never know when we're going to go virtual, we are attempting to make sure that our tutors are able to, and students are able to transition to virtual whenever needed. We have tried to do that in the past couple of weeks, and as we had technical difficulties today, we have experienced them too with our students, but we have been able to serve students that would not have been served had we not prepared to be virtual. So I'm really proud of the hard work that our tutors and our operations team have done to make that happen. A lot of fancy footwork, but we really do need tutors. So if you are willing to participate, we have training, we have a curriculum. It's all very mapped out, and we would love to have you. And if you have any questions about it, you can always talk to Ann. She can give you some true ideas about what it's really like. The other thing that we are doing, the building that we're in was built for 600 students, and we have 750 students. So we are at capacity. We are beyond capacity. We are bulging at the seams, and we're using every nook and cranny. Sometimes hard to find a place to tutor. And with the pandemic, we are experiencing increased social emotional challenges, and we need space to have groups to meet with them, with students. And we are trying to have a mind peace room, which is a place where students can go when they feel that they're triggered, and to work through and get their minds back to a peaceful space. And we are really having challenges even finding a space for that. So we are going to be, we are starting in the very beginning stages of a building expansion plan. So if anyone has expertise in expanding buildings or architecture, we would love to have your help. We really would need that. We did find a little nook and cranny for our mind peace room, and it does need painting. So if anyone wants to help with that project, we would love to have that help too. Thank you for allowing me to be here. If you have any questions, I'll put my name and number and email in the chat. So if anyone needs me, they can reach me.
All right, well, thanks for coming out. Nice to see you again.
We did have one question for Pam.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was somebody just questioning, I think this is back when you were talking about the tutor program and needing volunteers. Is there any kind of education degree required to be a tutor?
No, we do not. There is no education degree required. But we want you to be consistent with the student and willing to, it's basic math, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, some fractions. If you feel comfortable with that, then we would welcome you. And as we said, there is training and there is a curriculum, so we would welcome you.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Next, I believe would be Citizen of the World. I think Dr. Krause is here.
Thanks, Carrie. It's been a long time since I've joined too. We've shared that around on our little leadership team. So I'm happy to be back at the council meeting. I wanted to share a few things that we're doing over at CWC Cincinnati. We just ended our couple-week project where our kindergartners and first graders were learning about Martin Luther King Jr. And they applied their learning and worked together with their classrooms and had a student protest to ask for more playground equipment and more things for the kids to do outside. And we're looking forward to tomorrow to responding to their protest and supporting the student voice and how we might work together to create some opportunities for the students. So we're thrilled to be able to provide real applicable project-based learning for our kids. You can check that out on Instagram and our Facebook if you want to see the video of them doing that. Really great learning. We are hiring. We have jobs posted for next year. You can find those on our website. I'll drop both the Instagram and our website in the chat. And we are enrolling next year for grades K through 2. So we'll be adding on to second grade next year for our enrollment. All that can be found on our website. We're pleased to announce we're going to be co-located with a preschool that will be going into our building there on Homer and Bramble, Waverly's Hope. we'll be hosting a preschool in partnership with the Hamilton County Community Action Agency, and they have 40 preschool seats in 2 of our classrooms. They'll be open 7:30 to 3 o'clock with summer activities, and vouchers and private pay are accepted. So if you would like more information about that, you can find that on our website, and I'll drop their phone number also in the chat. But we are loving our little building and all our great classrooms and our property, and we would love to have any of you come and visit us. And we're looking forward to growing next year.
Awesome, thanks, congratulations. I'm not, see if we have any questions here. Got your information in the chat. Let's see, I don't see we have any questions. So thank you very much. We'll move on. I think we have, let's see, I'm not seeing anybody from the library who joined us today, unfortunately. However, we do have the surprise appearance of Councilmember Jan Michelle Kearney, if you would like having to say.
Hi, you know what? I just dropped in to visit, so I'm just here. So everyone, thank you so much. Thanks for all you do for Madisonville and for Cincinnati. So I'm just here visiting. If you need something, let me know.
Yep. Yeah, we have a standing invite for all of our city council members are welcome to come and join us and follow along.
And Carrie, I'm not sure if you all are presenting at the next neighborhoods committee. I know that my chief of staff was contacting different community councils, so I'm sure that's coming up soon.
Yep, absolutely. Very excited about it, and coordinating with our CDC Kirk here in the near future to unite presentation with all your new council members that'll be sitting next to you.
Okay, and then whenever you want us to come in person to Madisonville, we can hold meetings there too. So
yeah,
just let you know. All right, thanks.
Sure, the Rex would be a great spot to host you.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
All right, thanks. We're going to move on to board reports. For the president's report, we do have an update. We did receive our award for the neighborhood activation fund. So we have, that's some funding that was out there as part of the stimulus funding that the city was giving out. And so it's going to help us this year with event planning, with youth council. So we're really in some maybe some housing forum opportunities. So we're really excited for that, getting that funding in to help everybody out in the neighborhood. If you'll notice in the agenda, you'll see the updated list of the committee chair assignments. Try to maintain continuity as best as possible and keep as many people around. Try to keep that momentum going. So the new ones would be, so transportation, Kathleen Coley has taken over for me for doing transportation. So that's great, and keep the ball rolling with that stuff. And she actually used to work for the city, so she's not necessarily a stranger to everybody up there, even though she was in a different department. And we were able to add, so Kate, our former president, is still a member of the board at being ex officio for a year. And so we've added her to do education, so that way she actually will have to do some work. She can't just hang out in meetings anymore. So, but she has, a passion for the arts, and with experience in past years planning Tuesdays at the park, so we're gonna be able to have some more programming hopefully this year. Trying to think, and just as a reminder, we do have some open positions. Anybody has any interest, let us know, reach out, and we always could use more people. These are supposed to be committees of people. So beautification's running real deep. They got a lot of volunteers, but everybody could use some help. So if you're just interested in helping out, just let us know. On the agenda, you also see our setup schedule for our committee meetings that we do have. I won't read through all of those. And those are all going to be online, I believe, except for Miss Tony with the Youth Council. So, we'll post those links online on our Facebook, and then hopefully we'll send it out an email. That way everybody can join. You just want to drop in and see what's going on in our committees. Now, the big exciting news that I had for transportation is that, so last year had some requests put in, kind of got lost in the system, but kept up with it, and we found out that an all-way stop sign is going to be approved for Wetzel and Chandler. So Wetzel and Chandler will be a 4-way stop here in the near future.
Cool.
That got approved, as well as Blaney and Windward. So those were two that I was trying to push the city to knock out, just because of, it's a long history. A lot of people up in Wetzel have been wanting that 4-way stop there. That's a long history of there being an important part of the neighborhood. And then Blaine and Windward, the people who live over there, it's got this weird dip to it where people are bouncing their cars off of. So like if you go over it, you'll see that the road has been physically damaged from people bottoming out so much. So we got those two approved. The bad news is we don't have a specific timeline of when, because they're doing it through the Department of Public Services, which is a cost-effective way of doing it. But unfortunately, they just add it to their queue, and then they kind of knock it down until they get to it. And so, it certainly will be here before the spring. I know, I'm confident of that. But of course, public services, they in a good year, they lose a lot of people to other departments. So I can't give you an accurate one, but we'll keep on it. And we'll try to do our best to spread the word. That way, as many people in the neighborhood know about it. So when it does happen, won't be as a surprise. And for everybody else in the neighborhood that doesn't have anything right now, like, just let us know. Anything that's like sign related, that's, it's all it is just getting the staff to look at it. And it's just about as close or free as you can get. So that's like kind of easy stuff. So that's why you're seeing a lot of stop sign stuff, because even for them, that's like easy work, right? They don't have to like put things out to contract. They can kind of move forward with it. So if you have any other kind of suggestions like that, like feed them to us, and we'll keep working it. Yeah, you got a question, Isaiah?
Yes, right. Because I know last meeting we had, because I had told you that that you told me 4,000 cars a day coming down over on West. And I told you before, it'd be nice if they had traffic lights right there instead of putting up a 4-way stop. Traffic lights would be a lot better.
Yeah, Isaiah, for those at home, Isaiah is just talking about how traffic light would be more effective at stopping people. Yeah. And that is that's a tough fight. That's about $100,000 for one traffic light, and normal, about $80,000 to $100,000 typically. And so they're very resistant to install traffic lights. Yeah.
They need traffic lights there. And I'm a good man like me. Like, you work with me and I work with you. I'm 100% positive. The support is here. Just need to put me and the ABC down at City Hall and get things done. Not playing things done.
See, Kathy had a question here. Kathy Garrison had a question: how do people coming down Wetzel from Kenwood know that there is a stop sign? So yeah, that is the hard part about it, because at the end of the day, all they do is put up another sign saying stop sign approach, upcoming, or I can't remember the exact wording. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I can try to reach out to Officer Brown to see if maybe, yeah, where they maybe give warnings to people or something. I will say that a suggestion in the past, when I know Plainville and Rowe happened, was to have lighted stop sign with like light around it that would flash, right, to help draw more attention to the stop sign and make it more visible. And and again, that's a thing that the city is not willing to pay for. The interesting thing is that Clifton had that idea as well, that suggestion, was shot down, and somebody actually donated money to the city to buy one. But that was $2,000. Yeah, it was solar powered LED stop sign. Yeah. So that you can see why the city is reluctant to pay for that. We ended up. Yeah. we ended up with way too many parking signs on our street. Sorry, not sure the reasons. You know what street that is? I see that in the comments here. Just let us know and we can look into it for you. Islington and Rex. All right, yeah, I can stop by there and see what you're referring to. I can reach out to you. So for now, I'd like to move on to Joan.
Hey, Carrie.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, you just had some hands up in the attendees.
Oh, yep, I see that. Let's see. Maybe I have to, let's see how oh no, where'd he go? Did I accidentally? Oh no, did I accidentally kick somebody out or did they drop? It was Chris Papp, who is a member of the business chamber.
Here he is. He's on the panelist. You got him.
Yeah, Chris, you had a question?
I do not. I'm not sure how it happens, sir.
Okay, all right, no worries. All right. Yeah, Miss Pearson, you had a question you were saying? Just in general? Just like in general?
Well, yeah, just like, is Michelle Curry still there? Is she still on?
Yes, she is. Yeah, Councilmember Kearney is still on. Yeah.
Is she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, my name is Angela Pearson, and I've been living out Madisonville all my life. And we have, they call it First Colored Cemetery out here in Madisonville. And it's sad that it's becoming an eyesore in our community. And I just like to know, what can we do to make Union Baptist Church take their responsibility or give it back to the city about the cemetery? It's horrible. A lot of my family members there. We have Civil War veterans that's in that cemetery. We have a lot of prominent Black people in that cemetery, and no one is showing solicitation about the maintenance on that cemetery. And I think it's wrong because people have paid their way for their loved ones to be in that cemetery, to be protected. And to Ms. Kearney, what can be done for them to get that Black First Cemetery, colored cemetery, back up to standards?
All right. Yeah. Thank you for that. See if hopefully she's still.
But she's still on there.
Is she still on there? If she would like to reply, but we can always look follow up on that as well.
Hey, Carrie.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you guys, someone called me and so I muted and got out the call. Then I saw you were trying to unmute me. I didn't know whether you were asking me a question or not. Maybe not. Okay.
Yeah, just talking about the Union Cemetery that is on Duck Creek Road and just the status of the maintenance of it. I know there has been some local folks who are looking into trying to get some funding to renovate it and clean it up and have it so it be, because it is a very important cemetery. It needs to be reflected as such and be honored.
Is she still there? My thing is, if the city transferred over to Union Baptist, they're not maintaining it, keeping it up. So if they cannot maintain it, why don't the city take it back and maintain that? This is the first color or African American cemetery from the state, the first one in the whole state of Ohio. And they've been disrespected. We got Civil War veterans in there. We got a lot of prominent people in there. And the history of it, you know, there was non-Blacks people that don't look like me. Back in the 1848, they felt like it was an eyesore then in Avondale. So they had it uprooted. Black people uprooted and had them transfer over here in Madisonville. I think that was wrong, that was bias. That cemetery has been going through a whole lot because of racism. And I just want to know what can be done about it. Something got to be done about it because those people paid their way to be buried in there. So all I just want to know, Miss Kearney, I'm coming down there to see you next week. So I just want to know, I'm letting you know now, we getting ready to raise some hell.
How's it going, Bruce?
Okay. Can you give me your phone number or either, I don't know, I guess it looks like you're in person. Can you give me your phone number and let's talk about it? Cause I'll try to get some more information. And I'm so glad you're coming down to City Hall. That's always wonderful.
Yep. Yeah, I can forward you her information and.
Can you do that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Scrolling back up here. So Elise Bendick.
And I was just going to say thank you too for letting me know about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Elise Bendick, I saw you mentioned the stop sign in Camargo by the apartment complex with the spinners on top. Yeah, that's in that's Madeira, and yeah, that was brought up in the past in the same situation where the city, wasn't interested in paying for that, and of course, obviously, we wanted to buy it and donate it. But yeah, I mean, it's frustrating that something simple like that is in another adjacent a village, and we can't get our own city to do something simple like that to help bring attention to something. Karen Brown, I see you notice the status of the speed humps request for Simpson between Rowe and Bramble. A petition was signed and submitted over 6 months ago. Yeah, so the way that the speed hump petition process works is when that is sent in, they will review all of them in the spring, this coming spring. And so they will then, check the petitions for being valid, and then they will do a traffic study on all of those streets that they receive in the entire city. And then that traffic study, doing like how many cars, how fast, how many are over the speed limit, that kind of thing. And they'll rank them by that priority of how bad they were, essentially, and then just knock them out until they run out of money. So yeah, it is a very long process, and it's supposed to be an annual process, although I don't know if it's funded for next year. Okay, I think we got Q&A real quick. I'll check that. Mike Ty, you limit the large trash. Okay, the dumping on Old Red Bank by Tompkins, and also Bramble Park. Yep, a lot of the dumping, as you see it, we got to report it to the city, and they'll come out and clean it up. That is, we're not the only community that's affected by that. I know that. I think like North Fairmount has like a really bad problem with that in one certain spot, and it's tough to kind of have a long-term fix for that.
Yeah, that's Kara. I was going to jump in. That's right. The city spent a lot of money cleaning up some, we toured some dumping sites in North Fairmount, and one of the sites, it costs about $14,000 just to clean it up. And then they put up a $6,000 chain link fence around it to stop trucks from backing in and just dumping. So if this is a site near Bramble Park, just, let me know what we're trying to do, what city council's trying to do, because a lot of these owners of these vacant sites live out of town, and they just aren't taking care of the property. They're just investing and waiting for the for their investment to grow, I guess, but they're not, many of them aren't here, so we're trying to look to see what we can do about that. But meanwhile, we'll check on cleanup costs and see what we can do about cleaning it up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, got a comment also as well as the app.
Figure it out near Bramble Park.
Yeah.
So Fix It Cincy. Yeah. So Fix It Cincy is the app, and then you can always call 513-591-6000, and you can also call us. There's a portal that now we have where whenever someone calls about a complaint, we put it in the portal, and the Constituents Affair office looks into it and then gets back to us. So
Yep,
call
yep.
me, call 591-6000 or go to Fix It Cincy. I'd love for you to call me though. That way I can check on it. I'm going to put my number in your chat.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. One more question online. Leslie Smith, regarding the stop sign, how was the decision made as to what intersections would receive stop signs? We're always open for feedback from residents. It's kind of, a lot of it is like the volume, I would say, as well as the history there. Because so far the ones that you're seeing have been approved that we've been pushing for. Those are, we've been getting feedback from a lot of residents that live nearby. And at the end of the day, they will not get approved by the city if there isn't some type of safety hazard there. At the end of the day, there's going to be a history of collisions, or maybe there's a site problem, visibility problem, or, Blaney and Windward is kind of a special case one where it's like the physical layout of the road. So it is, the city's not going to like willy-nilly approve them, and there are some cases where they just get denied, and that is something how that process works, and it's not a guaranteed. Oh, yep, Kate Bodo says Chandler and Wetzel and Chandler and Stewart was a result of the 6th grade Parker Kids Project. So shout out to them. Yeah, because that's part of official Safe Routes to School program. So yeah, there's, it's not one universal way to do it, but there is a standard being applied. Okay, we'll get back to our agenda here. We will kick it over to Joan Willis from the Beautification Committee for a spending request authorization.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Doing good.
Yeah, I would like to just give a very short history of the planters that are up and down Madison Road. When my predecessor on beautification, Carolyn, first got a Safe and Clean grant from the city and was able to purchase 20 planters up and down Madison Road. She also entered into a contract with the Cincinnati Park Board at $200 per planter for the city to come out 3 times a year and plant in spring, summer, and fall, and to water the planters whenever things were dry. We have over the last, I joined the committee in 2014, so we've been using this method for since 2014. In addition to those 20 planters, the Beautification Committee maintains 30 other planters throughout the community, some on Bramble, some on Erie, one up near Bramble Patch, some on Rowe, some on Wetzel near Chandler. And the community, we raise our own funds for those. We plant plants in them, and our team, we take 2-week stints and drive around and water the planters when need be. We have 2 fundraising sources right now. One is we do an annual letter to businesses in the area and ask them to donate some funds to adopt a planter. And we also last year resumed having the garden tour. Sophia Helms was in charge of the garden tour, and she was able to raise $950 or so from people who gave contributions to the event. And so what I'm asking today, well, let me back up one more thing to fill in. We currently have $3,000 in our beautification budget. Those are funds that we have solicited, again, from area businesses and that we've earned through the garden tour. In addition to that, we'll be writing another letter later this year to get additional funds, and hopefully Sophia will chair having a garden tour again this year. For the city to maintain those 20 planters along Madison Road, it's a cost of $200 per planter. So it's a $4,000 contract that I would like to enter into with the city to maintain those planters for us. Again, we have $3,000 worth of funds already for that. I'm hoping that when we get to the NSP distribution of funds, we can request another $1,000, and we will do fundraising on our own to pick up the additional $1,500 or so cost to put plants in the community owned and community maintained planters. Long story short, I'd like to move to have the council authorize me to enter into a contract with the city to maintain 20 pots at $200 a shot, which at a cost of $4,000.
All right, thank you. I think I need someone to raise their hand to second that motion. You got Sarah Sheets already in the chat. All right, let me launch that poll. All right, there we go. We should see the poll is live. Double check here while that is going on. Okay, I'm seeing that's working. All right, I'm seeing the votes. Let's see, I'll double check here while that's going on. Let's see. All right, what we got here in the room here. So we're gonna have to try to do polling at both times, both locations. Don't count you. I don't know why this is not focusing in the room anymore. So that's another technological issue. Yes, that's right. All panelists do not have the ability to enter into polls, so the manual chat feature is useful. Sorry about that. All right, Tom and Kim are on the same computer. My vote for this is Kim. Okay, thank you. That will be recorded. Right. So, yeah, right now we're doing the group. Okay. Well, we have a poll right now voting on approving the expenditure request by the beautification committee. So that's what we're on right now. If you would like to vote for or no. They already have the funds. They already have the funds because they did their fundraising, and now they just need the authorization to use those funds. Okay. Anybody else? Yays? Nays? No? It's just for this year, and zero. Okay. All right. Okay, we end that poll, and we can call that a success for the beautification committee. Maybe
Right.
not my ability to do a poll, but you know, work in progress as always. All right, we'll move on to agency announcements. First up will be Artsville. I don't know, where'd she go? I'm looking for Miss Kathy Garrison. There you are. Promote the panelist. She's panelist. Oh no, there she is. Okay, that takes a second, doesn't it? All right. There you go, Kathy. Go ahead if you like any updates for Artsville.
I really don't have any updates at this point. I would like to thank everybody again who came out for the holiday open house. We are in the midst of planning for the next 6 months or so at Artsville. We've got some wonderful things I think that's coming online. So then the month of February, we'll probably have more to tell. Let me just do the weed and seed while we're here, and there are no updates there.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see, trying to see who could be next. The business chamber. Not seeing Terry, but Chris, do you have any updates for the business chamber, or do you want to hold that for your item later this evening?
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything to be shared other than what we have later in the agenda.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to double check. M. Kirk, anybody from M. Kirk, maybe Sarah Sheets, you have any updates that you would like to give? You can go ahead once that kicks in.
Carrie, I think Naima is here. Naima is going to give a report.
Let me scroll. Oh man, I don't see her.
Oh, she's having
Yep.
trouble getting in. I'll go ahead.
Sorry about that.
No,
Technology.
no problem. No, we just have a short report. We have an interim executive director in place while we conduct our search for a new executive director. And the interim director is Michael Survey, who some of you might know is the former head of the Department of Community and Economic Development at this city. So we're super excited that he's on board and helping us move some projects forward. And let's see. I think that's all I think that's the only update for today. But looking forward to a great year and yeah, lots more to come next month.
All right.
Thank
Short
you.
and sweet, but I mean, that's important. It's a big one. For MEAC, Abby, would you like any updates you'd like to provide?
Hi, I'm Abby Compton-Tresh. I think this is the first time I'm seeing a lot of you. I'm the stabilization coordinator at MEEC. I've been there since May, so I'm a little bit newer. We don't really have any updates right now, just upcoming food distributions. Still the first and third Tuesday of the month, February 1st, 10 to 2, February 15th, 2 to 6. And then March dates are March 1st, 10 to 2, and March 15th, 2 to 6. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you. And Ms. Garrison, you have any update on Weed and Seed you'd like to provide by chance? Give you that opportunity.
None for this evening, no.
Okay. All right. Now, old business. I'm going to share my screen. So we have that survey that we did over the past month. And so I got the results for that. So that was a pretty good success. I'm pretty happy with that. So just to review, this survey was for the traffic calming program, a new one for busier streets with over 5,000 cars a day, separate from the speed hump program that you know of and hate because you have to run petitions and it has been funded in 3 years. So it's different from that. No petitions. We're not going to have to worry about any kind of legwork here, but each community council in the city have 2 requests. So this is going to be really competitive. So we can send 2 suggestions to the city for this program, but because of limited funding, they're going to score them and then they're just going to start from the top and work their way down. And we got that request to send them by next Friday. So we did a survey to try to get that feedback. So these are the items that they're interested in installing on our busier streets. We have the curb bump out and a speed cushion. Bump out will be concrete, actually moving the curb out, make it easier to cross the street, make it easier to be seen, as well as to see vehicles. And then the speed cushion is like a modified speed hump that won't impede emergency vehicles. And the one caveat here is that the bump out will not be installed on a street where parking is not allowed during rush hour. So that does kind of limit a little bit our options. So this is the scoring metric that they're going to use. So the top 3, those are all like injuries and crashes, the history. And the other 4 are like where it's physically located and how it's used. So these green lines, these are the roads that in the neighborhood that will qualify for this program that we can ask for. If it's not on here, it's not going to qualify. It doesn't have enough traffic on it for this program. And so we kind of narrowed it down to these different segments because they would be really useful, and there's a history of crashes, or it's in the business district, or it has bus routes. And so that was kind of like what would be the most useful, but also combination will be the most successful. The reason why there's so many options for Bramble is because Bramble is too long to be used for both of our requests. So I was trying to kind of see if we could get a preference, right, amongst everyone. So this is the results. I had 143 responses, and we had 3 standout options, as you can tell, that people preferred, because you could pick all the options that you wanted, and that was done. You might try to see what people's true preferences are, and try to find where compromise could be found, hopefully, and I think we did. This is that same chart, but as a percentage, and I circled those options. There was the option to write in your own response, and half of those were segments that don't qualify. So these are what those 3 segments look like on a map, right? So you can kind of visualize it in your head a little bit better, that people preferred. We had some other questions just out of curiosity, see how people felt. We have, very strong support for walkability. We had asked about people's interest in being able to bike around the neighborhood, very strong support. And then again, interest in transit, taking the bus more often, a little bit more divided, but we still have the majority of people who are interested in better transit service. So what we do here, so we had 3 winning, 3 obvious choices that people were interested in. And we can have 2 options to pick between those 3. We can do the 2 that have the highest chance of scoring well, or we just go with the 2 that people really like the most. And I do have some updates on so that was how this could look with the 2 options that are probably the highest chance of being successful, because Madison Road is in the business district, so that's a lot of points. Also has a lot of bus traffic, so that helps. Bramble also has a lot of bus traffic, but you have a school and you have the park. And those will score well as well for that. The other option, the 2 that scored really well, we probably could do, basically almost all of Bramble. The problem here is that, unfortunately, I got some clarification from the city that Bramble and Wetzel, since that's not a designated business district, that's not going to generate any points in their scoring rubric. And they're not going to count that as a pedestrian generator, that kind of thing. So that's not going to score as well as the Madison Road segment, or as well as the Bramble Park segment. Again, these were some of the results that we got do not qualify. So at this time, a lot to digest, I know. So kind of want to open up to kind of any questions at the moment. I've got one here already. Isaiah, go ahead. I think you were.
Did you, my name is Mark, did you just say that Bramble and Wetzel area right there is not a business district?
Yes, correct.
Who made that determination?
I believe that was around 15 years ago, at least. Yeah, it's been a while. It used to be considered the B business district, but the decision at the city, it was the city's decision. They wanted to,
Is the B the black business district?
As second, we used to have an A and B business district, and A would be Madison and Wetzel, and B was Bramble and Wetzel. And so the city cut down the number of business districts in total. That way they could, that's.
That a neighborhood can claim as a business district.
Yeah, it's a legal, it is a legal definition, and the city has a map that you can pull up and you can see them.
It's like 10 black businesses right there.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Yeah, and it goes back. And then,
how many businesses on Madison Road right there?
I don't know off the top of my head. I understand.
Right there.
Is it because it's more African American down there? That's why.
Well, we have to ask the question.
This was done like 15 years ago, and I can't.
Reevaluate that, because I'm sure that
They are.
the business owners that's down there now, that's definitely what they appreciate, because they open their businesses every day, dedicated to open their businesses, so people can come in and patronize their business, but
Yep.
also Madisonville.
Mhm.
So as soon as possible, we need to be able to reevaluate that and see what we can get done to put that on the map as a full-fledged
Yep.
business also.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not as many businesses on Webster, but this is one bar right
Yep.
there. Right there on Madison and Webster, isn't it?
Right. Yep. Yeah, and it's a process. Yeah. It is, and it. There are some people out there trying to update how the business districts work in the city, but I don't know. I'm not part of that group, but I know that is being looked at to try to update to get at least some recognition of other areas that have businesses such as Bramble and Wetzel. Yeah.
Okay. One question, is the council member still on the line?
I'm still here, but I cannot hear you. So Carrie, if you wouldn't mind just
Okay.
either amplifying or just letting me know what's said. Okay.
Hi, how are you today? My name is Mark Powell.
Hi.
And recently, a judge refused to dismiss a lawsuit that claims Cincinnati tax breaks discriminate against minorities.
We're on this issue right. The floor is open to a specific issue right now.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, the traffic issue.
Yeah.
The business.
Yeah. At the end, we can move back to general comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you, it just, can I just say something real fast about that, Carrie? The lawsuit is actually ongoing litigation, so I can't really comment on it. But, feel free to call me. But I can tell you, I can't there. And actually, I don't have a lot of it. I probably have as much information as you do, but if you need more, I can try to get that for you. But they, just because it's ongoing litigation, we don't really comment on ongoing lawsuits. Feel free to call me though.
Yeah.
How's it
Okay.
going?
So
Hey, how are you?
About traffic. One thing they should do over by Desmond, over by St. Anthony's, because there's a school right there, and there's not even no sign saying 20 miles an hour for school zone over there. And
we can work on signage. Yeah.
Yeah, they should put because when I looked at it, I said, there's not even no sign saying 20 miles an hour in the school zone right here.
Yeah. Well, you hit me up on the side, and we'll talk about it. All right. So I'll give the people on Zoom an opportunity here. So if anybody on Zoom has any kind of questions about this or comments, yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull up the map again. So, because we need to make a decision here of what the community council wants to support. We go to this screen here. So I'm looking for anybody at home, like if you guys have any opinions, if anybody has anything that they would like to set up a motion, right? Any suggestions? I got a comment from Mike Ty that crossing at Bramble would help the trail, kind of school in the park. Yep, absolutely. So that's what I'm looking for, is a motion to approve.
Either either Madison and Wetzel or Bramble, or
Yeah, here, let me pull it up for you here again. I'll share it one more time. Wrong button. Yeah, there we go. All right, so this is our areas here that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yep. So we got a Madison, which is in the business district, and then Bramble in front of the park, and then Bramble in front of Wetzel. Those are the three options that we got a lot of support for, that people have a lot of interest in. But I'm looking for kind of discussion from just everybody to see what we would like to support.
I would believe that us as a community, support, where the most businesses are.
Sure.
The most businesses is down on Bramble. It's not on Madison and West.
Yeah.
It's just a big partner building with people living in it.
Yep.
And nothing is down on no businesses is there. Only business is the one that's the phone company and the hair store.
Yeah. Yep.
And okay, right? Well, is the clinic considered a business?
Well, we're talking about from Ward down to Jameson, so further east from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Ward to Jameson, the eastern part. All right, Amanda, you have your hand up. Yes.
Yeah.
Amanda,
Sorry, I was just wondering if I could make a motion.
And made a motion. I'm not seeing. I so move. Yep. I was putting the Q&A. Okay, so Amanda can second. Okay, so Amanda can second that motion.
Great, I second it.
All right. Yeah, and would you just like double check and clarify at what point you were motion support? Got one comment from Dave Capisser. At the last meeting, it was mentioned that at the intersection of Plainville, Madison Road, and East Avenue, there would be an elimination of the northbound lane. There's a modification at the intersection that would impact Madison to Jameson. Yep, the northbound lane is not going to be eliminated there. There's some other improvements law for a crosswalk on Blasey, and so requesting these improvements go on Madison Road from Ward to Jameson would tie in very nicely with that future project as well. Okay, sorry, we'll circle back. Yep. And Bolin, hopefully I can get you to confirm the motion that you put forth verbally. Hopefully this is working. Should we go ahead?
All right, am I on now? So I move that, thank you, that the Madisonville Community Council approve the two top traffic calming areas as presented in the former transportation chair's presentation today. And that's Ward to Jameson, and I don't remember the other block. Ward to I can't read it. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. So the top two vote getters?
Yes.
Yep, that would be the top two vote getters were Bramble centered on the West Hotel District and Bramble centered on the Park Crosswalk. So yeah, so that'd be the top two vote getters was essentially Bramble Avenue.
Yes. So so as I said in the chat, I so move, and Amanda seconded.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This is what it would look like. Hold on, there you go. Like that. That's what it would look like.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, Bramble. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so moving, that was as moved by Ann Bolin. So we're going to add that to the poll. That was seconded by Amanda Mahaffey. Kate's typing that up for me real quick. All right, stand by. There we go. All right. Can everyone see the poll? All right, there we go. We're getting some votes. Okay, so
Carrie, would you
Go ahead.
mind removing me as a panelist so that I'm able to vote?
yes, good reminder. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. So you have to vote no. In the room, physical improvements to the road to encourage people to slow down. Yeah, essentially. Yeah, that's similar to, yeah. Sorry, we're clarifying here.
Up toward the coffee shop, up toward the black community.
Yeah, Jameson, yeah. Yep. And so we have a motion on the floor right now to support the two highest vote getters, which was on Bramble Avenue.
Okay.
So a vote for would approve that, and that's what we would submit. And a vote no would allow us to vote on something else.
Say that in the thing, because somebody's man is asking to clarify that on the recording.
Yeah, I was unmuted. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully that made sense to everybody at home. A vote yes would approve Bramble Avenue. A vote no, we could then move on and talk about a different option that people might prefer. Yes. Yeah.
Speed bumps.
Yeah, for Bramble Avenue.
Bramble Avenue.
Yes or no, or abstain.
That's a hard one right there because it's a busy road.
That's what they want. They also people stop.
Well, the only way we can have it calm things down, have the police officers be more patrolling like they supposed to.
I believe got Sarah Sheets asking if you cancel the vote. I'm pretty sure you can reopen the poll and change your answer. I thought I saw it shift. Got Ann agreed. I thought the top two were Bramble Park and Ward at Jameson. No, the top two vote getters, yeah, were Bramble Avenue. The Madison Ward at Jameson was number 3. Let's see. Can people update their vote? I would like to see one Madison segment included. Okay. So yeah, we could end this vote.
Somebody would have to make a motion to vote on.
Vote differently, to vote
to
differently.
basically
Yeah.
Vote each individual, vote the top 3 due to clarification. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we will. All right, so we would end this poll and then have someone make another motion to. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So, nope, that's not gonna work. Okay, it's not gonna work for you. Okay, so there have been several people requesting to change their votes based on how the three different options were playing out. If I may, Mr. President, make a recommendation to close the existing poll and actually put forth a new motion to vote on the top three individually, as opposed to lumping them all together.
Okay, can I get a second? You got a good second by Ann Boland. Okay, another second. Can you pull up the slide with option 1, option 2 while people vote? Yes. All right, we will update the poll.
To vote on each individual option as opposed to voting all as one, voting for the top three and the top two vote and the top three people better than they did. That makes sense.
Yep.
So hold on. If you put it forward like this, why after the vote you want to change the way it's determined? Why is it going to be determined individually now after people see that that's not going to happen?
Because the person who supports the motion did not understand it. Yeah.
So after winning, basically because it's like, oh, no, that's
No, I didn't, because there are three good options, as opposed to lumping them all together. It gives the general body the opportunity to vote for the two best options that each individual person thinks, as opposed to saying just two options. That way it becomes you could vote for individual options as opposed to lumping it all together. It actually makes more sense. It should be done that way. Does that make sense, Marco? So instead of saying your only option is to vote for 1 and 3, now you can vote for 1, you can vote for 2, you can vote for 3, you can vote for 2 of them. You can basically vote which. Does that make sense? Because it wasn't.
A lot of things that's not really thought out. It was really the amount of things that
The other one is Bramble to the Bramble Business District. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah. Retail district, I don't know. Yeah.
And the other one is
All right, Anna, there are essentially 4 options on this slide. should we vote for all four? No, you will, vote yes or no on each individual of the three preferred options. No, none of ours. None of them driving. All right, here we go. All right. Poll ready to go live. Got a comment from Mike Ty. Again, we got a major grant from the state for a Little Duck Creek Trail in the park. Tying in the Murray Trail at Settle Maryland Park option will probably be the best successful option. Thank you for that comment. So you're gonna have the poll's gonna show up, and you'll have all three, and then you vote for, against, or abstain all three, or individually, even though they'll all be listed. All right, so you should be seeing a poll with 3 different voting choices, one for each of the 3 segments, and you should be able to vote individually for all of them. I'm not seeing. Okay, here we go. All right, people are voting, so it's working. All right, try to poll the audience here. Yeah, so 3 options: Eastern end of Madison Road, Ramble Park, or Ramble Retail District. Of those 3, pick 2.
We have those 3 choices.
Yeah, we want the city to look at installing traffic calming to slow people down.
I think,
You know what mama told me when I was young? She said, if you ain't got nobody opposing you, you ain't gonna do nothing.
We got 21 voted. 23, okay. I'll poll the audience, the 4 audience members here. I'll poll them real quick. All right, so while we let the poll keep going, we will actually queue up the business chamber here for their presentation while I close the polling here. And we're looking for, oh no, it's happened to me again. Kathy Garrison, you can go ahead if you're ready. Let me know if you need anything. I'll stop sharing.
Carrie, I don't think I do. I just wanted to, Terry is not available this evening, so she's asked me to step in on behalf of the business chamber. We are going to ultimately be asking the community council for a letter of support for the neighborhood business district support grant program. Let me just share a little bit about that with you. It was a program that was created in response to a lot of adverse negative effects from COVID on businesses. This is a grant that would, there's a proposal of, I think, $2 million that will include some funded activities such as capital projects, business startup expenses, some other investments in neighborhood business districts. And it would aid a lot of the small businesses who are participating in the community. So the grant itself would cover things or support things like outdoor spaces for restaurants, or to improve the built environment of the neighborhood, facade improvements, etc. The NBDSG program will provide neighborhood small businesses support grants. And what we did was to query through email all of the businesses that are a part of the business chamber. The first round of this grant would range from anywhere 50,000 up to 200,000. So again, we have not finished that application. We're looking for the support, so we have no idea what that total number might look like. As a suggestion for that, when we did query the businesses, we got things back like speed bumps for Mad Llama. There are cars that constantly cut through that parking lot to bypass the traffic signal. That's a very, very long traffic signal there at Kenwood and Madison. And so they'd like to somehow help deter the traffic that's coming through their lot constantly. Another area was some lighting around Millie's and maybe perhaps some fencing, or the outdoor patio, which they were part of a pilot program, I think it was last year, that worked very well for them. There was a request for some raised crosswalks at Madison and Ward, Plainville and Madison. Again, that's right there by Millie's. There's a number of people, seniors, who cross Madison Road there, and the traffic does not slow down. So that was one of the other requests. Now, as a part of this, there's also, and this was a program I think that was brought up some time ago that, if I remember correctly, Community Council voted on and approved, which never really went anywhere. But that is the co-sign program. So I'm going to ask Alicia to jump in real quick and explain the co-sign to people. And then we'll move forward with the rest of the presentation here.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, correct, Ms. Kathy. Last year, we brought this before Community Council and asked for a letter of support. This was actually when I was working with MKirk. They had submitted this for funding, and this program is a program from the American Sign Museum. It teaches local businesses how to create a strong sense of place with better signage. It's a program that's flexible and can adapt to the needs of any community. This is supposed to engage the community with the business owners and local artists, multifaceted. It's promoting your business not just in your storefronts, but also with your local artisans that maybe don't have storefronts. There's a whole process, a toolkit that's received with the funding, and then you have money that helps pay for the signage for each of the businesses that want to participate. There was a lot of support for this last year. I know that MCC did vote to support this last year. The Business Chamber voted to support this last year. Many of the businesses were excited about it. I believe even our biggest developer, Ackerman Group, they had written a letter of support. I know they were interested because they have all those spaces where they're hoping to lease to new businesses. This is a way to get some really beautiful creative signage that's going to draw people in after 2 years of COVID. I think foot traffic is down for many businesses. That's not just because people haven't been out as much, but also we've all gotten in the habit of ordering stuff, having things delivered to our homes. So we've got to come up with some new creative and innovative ways to get people into storefronts. I believe that the community has been embarking on a long-term public arts planning process. And I know that Artsville, MKirk, I think that we've seen some stuff with the library, some of our new developments, they've all been working towards having public art installations for you. And these signs can almost be looked at as a form of public art. Some of the places this has occurred before, we have seen this done in the city of Covington, which Cosign actually won an award from the National Endowment for the Arts for their efforts there. Northside has had 2 rounds of Cosign there. Some of my favorite signs are Spun Bicycles, Kung Fu to Marasia and Covington. I think Casablanca has a really cool sign that was part of this program. This is really great. The businesses are empowered to kind of lead the process for themselves. They are trained, they're handheld, and they have the expertise coming from this design team and the American Sign Museum. This is a retired program. Last year we had called, they were willing to bring this out of retirement. I have made a phone call to my contact to make sure that this would be feasible moving forward. We're going to have a more in-depth discussion tomorrow, but I think it's my understanding that everything is going to be fine. All of the support that was there last year, I'm hoping is still there. The only reason I'm talking today, I'm not running this program. I'm not going to be paid to be a part of it. I believe that Terry simply knew that I had a long history with this and that I've seen this program and its many successes. So they had asked if I would come and speak more to it. I will say that the funding sought last year, it was not received. There was some strange questioning that came about and from the funding source where they had asked, you know, are the artists selected yet? Well, no, generally when you're receiving funding from the city, you don't select your contractors before you get your funding. You kind of go through a process after to make sure that there's appropriateness. It seemed really weird because the people asking that had received city funding before. But I've never worked in an environment where you couldn't find artists that were willing to do work and get paid and be recognized for it. If we run into that issue, I think we have a bigger problem altogether. I believe that as far as are we going to find businesses, I can't imagine that with the support we have from the Business Chamber and them speaking to all their businesses, that we don't have more than enough businesses to participate in this program. So those seem to be the only concerns. I was never able to see the score sheets for that. I apologize. We requested them and for some reason we weren't able to obtain those from the city. So this program has been successful. It has had support in the city of Cincinnati before. I believe that it may be something that is resurrected on a broader scale in the future. And I feel like Madisonville would really benefit from getting back in on the ground floor of this kind of coming back to life. And what a prime time with all the great stuff happening in Madisonville to help support our businesses that have really worked hard to thrive through this very trying 2 years. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Specifically about this program, if you have questions about the grant, those need to go towards Ms. Kathy Garrison.
Thank you, Alicia. If there's any questions, let me know, Carrie. But all of those items and the description that Alicia has shared with us on the Cosign program, which was already, again, approved by the Community Council last year and other folks, there has been some work done on that. All of these things that we are suggesting would benefit the community. There would be a second round of this grant, is our understanding. We don't have total detail yet. But it would be for smaller grants and more for infrastructure support. Those grants would probably run somewhere around 10,000 and probably a little bit more. All the applications will be separate, and so we'll present some of those at the future community council meetings. So with that said, if there's any questions that I can answer, I'm happy to do that. But again, our request is a letter of support from Community Council.
We got one question from Amanda. It seems like speed bumps and higher curves should be requested through the city. Better, more appealing signage in the community sounds nice. How do we know this is what the grant money would go towards?
How would we know that that's what the money would go for?
Yes.
So, okay, I'm sorry, I don't understand it. Read it again.
Better, more appealing signage in the community sounds nice. How do we know this is what the grant money would go towards?
I mean, if that's what we put in for, that's certainly what we would do. That's what that's how grants are kind of structured. So.
Miss Kathy, if I may, I believe that
Sure.
this funding is funding that is being allocated from the city to Home. Home has been charged with the management and further designation of funds to the applicant. Therefore, Home is going to be held to the scrutiny the city is for the expenditure of either federal or state dollars. They will be audited. It's my understanding that some other agencies that have worked for the city to allocate funds have been audited recently. There is definite multiple insurances that the money will be used what it's supposed to be used for. And if not, I'm sure there's probably some pretty interesting consequences for that. I can't imagine that there wouldn't be oversight. The new administration seems to be highly focused on doing things appropriately. So I would say more than ever, it's not only going to be spent in the way it is supposed to, but there'll be oversight ensuring that it's done with the most success possible.
Yep. I got Amanda's, I think, hand was up. I think to reply, I'm assuming to clarify her question.
So anybody in the neighborhood with a plaque with that sign?
This is the business district, sorry. No, where'd she go? There we go. Here we go. I think Amanda, did you have
Hey,
someone?
yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna clarify my question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I was just, my question was, Kathy, when you first started talking, you said that some of the businesses that were asked about, this grant and their interest in it mentioned wanting speed bumps or raised crosswalks. And then Alicia, when she gave her explanation of the grant, was more like about the signage. So am I confusing it? Is it two separate grants?
No. It's a single grant, but a part of the grant is the co-sign program within the grant. That was one component. And because I'm not familiar with the co-sign and how that actually operated, and Alicia has worked with that, that's why we asked her to give that explanation. That is a part of the same grant, Amanda.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's 2 rounds.
Correct.
That's why there's 2 different items, because there's 2 rounds of funding that are slightly different. Sarah Sheets posted a link in the chat for people at home to look at to give an understanding of the entire program.
Correct. Home, I think it's on the city website where there is some definition to this. I don't think all of the specs are out on it yet in terms of all of the information, but there is some information out on the city website.
Scrolling back up, some questions in the chat. Please put them in the Q&A. That makes it a little bit easier to manage. A question from Sophia Helms: who manages the money, and will all accounting be transparent?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Who manages the money, and will all accounting be transparent?
Absolutely. Again, just as Alicia explained, it's like any other grant. You are accountable to. We would be accountable to Home. They were the ones who will administer it, and there will be scrutiny and reporting and et cetera that needs to be done on those.
Miss Kathy.
Okay.
Miss Kathy, I know when you all asked me to do this, you sent me the grant information. I was under the impression this was part of the stimulus funding that came down that was federal grant dollars that were received by the city, and the city's contracting, just like, I don't know, home base is sometimes contracted with, or the neighborhood. Oh, I apologize. Why am I'm drawing a blank? Sorry, I was thinking on something else. But yeah, like all of these different groups have been engaged with by the city, and they contract, and then they're scrutinized and audited. So if a mistake's made and there's not appropriate oversight, then those agencies, I'm sure, would be dealt with just as the community misspending. I don't think with all these different layers, I am positive that you will find everything is going to be transparent and accurately and adequately expended and managed.
We got another question we have is, can't the city DOT simply improve the timing on the light at Kenwood and Madison? I can answer that for you, actually. It is a challenge to get staff to want to re-time lights, and at the end of the day, it's still a timer-based system, and for that suggestion, it's never going to be perfect. You're still going to have people who are going to cut through the parking lot.
And again, Gary, please understand, these are things that the businesses have put out there. That doesn't mean that all of these things will actually, be approved at some point. It's like any other grant. And so once we know what those are, we're just looking for the letter of support from the community council to move forward with the application.
Okay, got another question here from Emma Clark. Are they asking for a letter tonight, or when they know what project they're going to submit? That's kind of, I think, what you were just addressing.
Correct.
Yep.
And it's like any other grant, there's a timing issue in terms of the preliminary information that has to be in.
I got a question, Ann Bolin. Can the money be used to build out additional space inside or outside, or purchase property?
No. It cannot be used to purchase property, and it cannot be used for inside. It's more like I kind of almost equate it similar to facade, which is outside work. That's my understanding. And again, we don't have all of the details from home. That's just the information that we've been provided through the city.
If I may, as far as, I believe somebody was saying something about speed humps, and obviously everything is to support for COVID, as I mentioned, with the signs, a drawback to our businesses and bringing foot traffic in. But also, I don't know what the business chamber, how they're posing this, but my assumption is if they're wanting to suggest the speed humps, that as you try to work towards the awesome walkability in the neighborhood that everybody likes to talk about and support, I think there's been an issue with traffic cut through at Mad Llama. I remember that was an issue they were discussing before. So as we're trying to increase foot traffic and increase visitation and visitorship to our business district and our businesses, creating safety, it's probably a safety measure that they're trying to do for walkability to support the businesses that have been affected by COVID. And there's quite a few ways, if you're creative, that you can address issues and come up with some new ways. And speed humps might be a way. I'm not a fan of speed humps, so I'm making an argument right now for something that I generally don't promote, but yeah, I think that's probably what they were trying to do, was create safety so people can actually walk to the businesses.
Yeah. And we know that's been a long-term issue there at that corner, cutting through that lot, whether it was Mad Llama or somebody else who was there previously.
This looks like one more question here from Sophia Helms. Will the council see the management of the funds? Will the spending be transparent in our community?
Absolutely. Why would it not?
Okay. Alex Smith, I have a question about Union Baptist Cemetery. If you don't mind, we'll handle this issue, and then we can circle back around to that after we finish the business chamber's proposal here. We got Mike. I think he's had his hand up for a little while. Let him double check, make sure. Mr. Ty, you had your hand up. one more time.
Harry?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I believe that's part of the 1.9 trillion dollar Relief Act passed in March funding. So the city got what, 290 million? So just to give some history of what's going on with this. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Double checking here. Got another hand up here. Mr. Capisser, let me promote you here real quick. Double checking my list. All right, Mr. Capisser, go ahead. If you had a question or a comment about the Chamber's proposal.
Okay. When they were talking about the coast side that Alyssa was talking about, I tried to just add in there that we visited Fort Collins, Colorado this summer, and they did the painting with the businesses, and they were very creative in the way they did it, but they also included the utilities fixtures around the city. And that would be a question I would, ask the business community, kind of look at, ways that whether or not our utilities would be open to letting some of their fixtures be painted. In Fort Collins, they did a really great job. Things like even like a transformer that was ground-based just became a dragon, or a couple of a bunch of sheep, like they were walking through the city. So sometime I would be glad to share the pictures we have of it. We took a lot of pictures of this, but there are other places where businesses, in order to get people to move down the street, they had flocks of birds kind of flying across the top of the cascade at the top of the building. And so that as you follow the path of the birds down was also a way of following a path to another part of the businesses along that row. So Fort Collins, Colorado was very successful in this. So I would like to see this coast signage piece get in there, but it's unless you visited that city, you really can't appreciate how successful this kind of an idea can be.
I think Alicia just put a note in there, Mr. Capisser, to please send her the pictures. We'd love to see them as well. That's not something we've seen nor thought about, but certainly we can have that discussion. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I think this is the last question from Alex Smith. Will we have the signs be cohesive and similar? So are they going to have, the same kind of design or shape or anything like that?
Well, I mean, so I think cohesiveness, normally what you're seeing are projecting signs. I say that, and before everybody freaks out, I'm not talking about like crazy neon lit signs. The term projecting is one of those weird terms. It's like the arm signs that stick out is what you see most of them as being. That's not always the case. As far as their creative signs, so the whole point is to not look the same. Generally, I mean, you're going to have your parameters set forth with your sign language and plan your zoning code. You should have some thresholds for size and shape and what kind of sign. So that would be how you have your most cohesion. It's also because it's supposed to be part of like a public arts effort. You have two different options you can go with when you're creating a kind of Main Street area. You can go for a very kind of more clinical vanilla look of like everything's very matchy, which can really work in certain communities, or you can go for kind of like a more vibrant mismatched look to things, which I think your architecture just kind of lends to. If you're looking at your built environment, you have a lot of different structures, you have a lot of different kind of assets and resources kind of within that diversify the look of things. So I think what you're going to find is that it won't be cohesive in the sense of like the same color scheme or kind of color palette or anything like that. But yes, you're going to be within your zoning code. You wouldn't get permits otherwise. And they do have very specific types of signage that they're working with and types of materials. You are welcome to go look up if you just Google cosign and American Sign Museum, you can find great things. I had a really big presentation I did last year. I didn't want, since most of you are awesome community members and stay engaged, I didn't want to bore you by sitting through like a 15-minute presentation that you've already sat through. But if you go to that website, you're going to find some great information. If you have additional questions about that, specifically not the grant, but about cosign itself, please feel free to message me. I'm happy to talk to anyone about it. I've witnessed how this project unfolds. I've been there on the unveiling day for one of them. It's a huge community event, and it's actually like if you ever go down to where Hotel Covington is, Braxton, that Madison Pike area in Covington, when cosign came in, I think they're the like 7 or 8 businesses that received signs were the 7 or 8 businesses that were there. It's now one of the hottest areas in the tri-state area. There's something to be said for that. One of their restaurants that opened up over there, Rich's, I think just won some national award. So it's definitely like an area to go visit.
All right, we're gonna move on. We have one more question from Nima Clark. Clarification: Alicia say that the cosign program is not currently going, but she's going to ask.
Well, just like last year, I'm friends with one of the individuals, so it was confirmed that they would be willing to work with it. Last year, they had confirmed it for certain. Right now, because I didn't get this call until the other day, I think this has been happening fast, but I was told like we're having the call tomorrow. It's fine. Yes, we're going to be able to do this. It's just how it will look for them more than how it would look for Madisonville.
All right, we got a hand up from Von Engel. Go ahead.
That was my mistake. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no problem. We will go ahead and other questions. Would anybody like to bring forward a motion on this issue?
Thank you, Carrie.
Oh, I got hands up. So I think Kate was first here in the room.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion for a letter of support for the NBDSG grant on behalf of to support the Madisonville Business Chamber for their application. Excuse me, I can't talk today. For their application.
Okay, do we have a second for that? Second. Okay, we have a second. From
and Anna and Jim.
All right, yep, got plenty of seconds. All right, so we can launch the poll for that. All right, we launched a poll for that. I did see some hands go up as well. When that poll is up, I'm not sure between Ann and Alex who was first, but Ann, go ahead. I see that you're unmuted already. You can go ahead.
It was just a point of clarification. Did we need to have closure on the vote for the traffic calming before starting a second motion? That was all.
Yes, the results for the previous poll.
Yeah. But it's fine. But yeah.
Well, I'll click on that, but it was, I do know the results was Madison Road and the Bramble Park section of Bramble were the two winning options. So I think Alex Smith, you had your hand up, and then followed by Susan Harper.
So thank you. Good job. Boy, you're doing a great job. Appreciate it. I'm circling around back to the Union Baptist Cemetery. Is that fine? Is that appropriate?
If you don't mind, I want to make sure, and if anybody has this item that they want to talk to, and then we can circle back to you if you don't mind.
Okay, you let me know. You let me know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
Thank
know
you.
Susan Harper had a question. You had your hand up. You have a question?
No, I had my hand up to second the motion.
Okay.
Wrong
Okay.
place.
Okay, from technical perspective, we have to actually end this poll before we can display the previous poll. It's just technical limitations from Zoom. The winning options were the Madison Road segment and the Bramble Park segment of Bramble Avenue. We had done that between. We got 18 votes on the current poll. All right, and then we got already have it calculated, so I think we can close that poll so we can, yes. All right, so, and then we have the calculation here. We had 4 yeses here in the audience for 5 yeses. I can't read, apparently, don't know. So, and then for the previous poll, okay, does that show up, everyone? Okay. You might have to scroll because of how large it is. Okay, so our polls are settled. Any questions about the results? Because I think after that, we just go to general body announcements with, I think Alex Smith, you probably be first up. Not seeing any questions, so yeah, go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Good job, Carrie. First off the bat, you're doing great. Hope the Bengals will do the same thing next weekend. I want to just sort of go back to the Union Baptist cemetery issue. I kind of caught that at the end. I was walking my dog, getting dinner ready. Sherrod Brown in 2020 presented a bill to the US Congress. Obviously, the COVID probably stymied that. But I'll just kind of read what he said. Today, the Senate unanimously passed a bipartisan legislation introduced by Senator Sherrod Brown, Democrat of Ohio, to set up a voluntary nationwide network of African-American burial grounds and to provide federal assistance to ensure the burial sites are preserved and maintained for future generations. Brown introduced this legislation last year with Senator Lamar Alexander, Republican of Tennessee, after he visited the Union Baptist Cemetery in Cincinnati. Following news reports of vandalism at the cemetery's called for much needed repairs. Union Baptist Cemetery was founded in 1854 and included remains of former slaves, African-American Union soldiers, and civil rights activists. I just want to say that I reached out to Union Baptist as a member of Madisonville to help maintain, take care of that cemetery. We heard nothing back from the church, but I just want to be very clear that we want that cemetery to be a lightning rod, a part of Madisonville, but it's very important. I just want to be very clear because the conversation seemed to be a little convoluted, a little confused, but we just want to know. And most likely that bill is lying fallow in Congress, and we might want to look to the South for why that's lying fallow with Mitch McConnell and cohorts. So just being clear, that that cemetery is on the radar of a federal bill. Okay, so I just want, that's it. That's all I got to say. Good job, everybody. Thanks for everybody's input, and see you next year.
Real quick, Alex. Ms. Pearson would like to contact you. Is that okay? If I could forward your phone number to her, if you're interested.
Here, council member?
Angela Pearson from the neighborhood.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
No other items are open. I can adjourn this meeting. We'll do better next time, folks.